Dominance and exclusive skills are the most powerful in-game player features, and no one is talking about it until now. And you might have seen the dominance blue button that pops up in your games, and I'm willing to bet that many of you guys don't know what it is, how it works, and when's the best time to use it. And if that's you, watch to the end of the video so you'll know everything about these skills so you can win more games and get higher in the ranks. I think dominance and exclusive skills is one of the best features in this game that separates itself from other NBA titles. And these two skills are specifically designed to help you win more games in clutch moments. And in their most recent developers questions and answers event, I asked how did they come up with the exclusive and dominant skills. And the devs answered, inspiration is drawn from many classic moments in the NBA, such as Miller's 8.9 seconds scoring 8 points, and McGrady's 35 seconds scoring 13 points. These irrational plays evoke intense emotions, so we want players to experience similar moments in the game. And if you missed the dev Q&A, you can find my full recap and reactions to all their questions and answers at the end of this video. I'm excited to share this with you guys because I couldn't find this anywhere online, and it's not even explained in detail in the game. So slam dunk that like button and get your pen and paper ready because Coach Coop is about to drop some knowledge. And hit that subscribe button if you have just as much fun as me playing this game and want to know more. And also join Coop Nation Discord where we hang out with other NBA Infinite players. We have our first NBA Infinite tournament planned. You can also find teammates, share media clips, and talk all things NBA Infinite and mobile gaming. I will break down dominance and exclusive skills into 3 easy to follow sections. So by the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to know about these 2 skills. The sections will be Section 1, what are dominance and exclusive skills? Section 2, how does dominance meter work? And Section 3, tips on how to use it. And now we'll begin with Section 1. What is dominant skill and what is exclusive skill? And what's the difference? As you already know, every player has their own set of core moves and also their own set of core skills. And this is what makes each player different, especially if they're playing in the same position. But dominance and exclusive skills are entirely separate skills that enhance your player's current abilities. And they can help you either offensively or defensively depending on your player. And now we'll go into the details. Dominance is an active skill, or in other words, to activate the dominance skill, you must first trigger it with an action. So in this case, you must press the dominance button first in order to start the action. Every single player has their own dominant skill, so it's even more important to know what exactly they do when you tap on it. And you can find out by going into the player tab and then player details. And now you can see exactly what happens when you tap on the dominance button in a live game. And in order to have the dominance button activated, you must first have the dominance meter build up throughout the course of a live game. This meter starts off at 0 at the start of the game, and when it hits 100, it's ready to be activated. You can see this meter progress by tapping on the communication button or seeing the meter surrounding your player icon on your HUD. And I'll explain how to charge up the dominance meter faster than the other players later in this video. So by the time it's fully charged at 100, a blue button pops up meaning it's ready to be activated. And once you tap on that blue button or the dominance skill, you'll have a short period of time to execute your dominance skill. The length of time of the dominance phase changes by player, but from my research I couldn't find a set amount of time that's the same across all the players. But on average you can expect it to last for 1 ball possession, meaning about 30 seconds or so. And in this dominance phase, this length of time could be cut short if something bad happens, like you miss a shot, get blocked, get the ball stolen, or it could actually extend if you make shots. And this length of dominance time is subject to change based on the developers and how they feel they should change it to make it more balanced. Another way to think about dominance is like an ultimate. And when you press that dominance or ultimate button, your player enters a higher state of playing for a short period of time. On the other hand, exclusive skills do not need to be activated on the court. It's mainly a passive upgrade where you do not need to activate or tap a button to execute. It's meant to already boost up your existing stats or moves or skills. And just like dominance, it's different for each player. In addition, exclusive skills can also give a player additional moves. For example, like Damian Lillard's exclusive skill called High Noon, where not only he increases his shooting range and field goal percentage, he also unlocks 3 special dribble moves that he can use anytime on the court. That's why I recommend sticking to one player and mastering him. And you can practice these additional moves that your player gets. Depending on the player, you can go into your exclusive settings right there. You can go into your player details, tap in on your exclusive, and you'll see that there's additional moves that they unlock. And then you tap on that blue icon with the dumbbell in the middle up right there. And it'll instantly take you to a training room where you can practice it and have a computer demonstrate it for you first. And then you can go ahead, practice it on your own, and it'll tell you if you did it right or wrong. Now we're in section 2. How does the dominance meter work? How to charge it up quickly and when to use it. So now you know that dominance skill is an active skill that you must actively press on the button to have it work on the courts. And it's a meter that you basically have to charge up from 0 to 100, and when it hits 100, it's ready to activate. The purpose of dominance is to activate it at key specific moments, either offensively or defensively, depending on your player, to help turn the tides in the match. And every player has their own set of exclusive skills that makes them different from the rest. Each player has their own unique dominant skill and exclusive skill. And it's very hard to go into every single dominant skill that each player has, but just trust me, go to your favorite player and take a look at it. Usually there's an additional move or it's something that greatly increases their stats, skills, or moves. And if you look at different dominant skills, you might notice that it might just increase a certain skill by 10%, 20%, or even up to 30%. But you also have to keep in mind that it also complements a lot of the existing skills and moves that they already have, so it's on top of what they already do. And the length of time of this dominance phase is usually 1 or 2 ball possessions. And since this game is so fast paced and competitive at the higher ranks, games are often decided by 1 or 2 points. So that's when this dominance gives you that edge to come out on top. Also, this dominance meter charges very slow at a Lopez rate of speed. But I found out how to speed up this meter by doing this. Along with the dominance meter progressing at about 1 point per 2 seconds, just simply passing the ball adds about an extra 1 to 2 points in your meter. Assists gives you 5 points into your meter, and rebounding a blocks gives you about 8 or 9. And scoring a buckets gives you about 9 points on top of your meter. And if your teammates score, you get about 5 additional points in your meter. And the dominance bar progression system is always changing according to what the devs find what needs to be balanced. But even though if these numbers get adjusted by a second in the future, the idea is the same. The more activity you have with your team and scoring points, the faster you get your dominance. On the flip side, if you stand around and do not contribute much to your team's overall success, you're actually putting your team at a bigger disadvantage because the other team is getting to their dominance faster and have higher chances of extending their lead once they activate their dominance phase. Normally, you can get your dominance skill just by normally playing by about 1 minute and 20 seconds, or if you're doing absolutely nothing, you'll get it as late as the last 20 to 30 seconds. So it's entirely up to the player to get this ball rolling, and when it comes time to use your dominance skill, you'll have it ready earlier than later. Usually getting your dominance meter filled up is best for most cases, so you can quickly start turning the tides as early as possible to hopefully extend your lead. But a couple players in particular, like Damian Lillard, he has a special dominance skill that's very strong in the last 30 seconds. So in his dominance skill called closing time, his field goal percentage increases in the last 6 seconds of the shot clock and last 30 seconds of the game. And if his team is losing or the score is tied, his field goal percentage increases even more. And you might look at that and say, oh, it's just 10%. But if you combine it with his other core skills and core moves, it actually becomes very lethal if you start combining it with his 3-point pull-up pro, which can add an additional 10% when maxed out, and unlimited range where he can be further away from the 3-point line without having his shot percentage weakened. And that with the clutch shooter can increase his 3-point field goals by up to 12%. And all that combined with his natural 3-point stats makes him extremely deadly to help you win games late. And all that included with this high noon exclusive where he has additional moves to create space and get open. This all combines to what we know as Dame time. And this is one example of how all the skills combined with the dominance and exclusive can help players take over the game offensively or defensively. And I know you may think it's just a short window, but these games are so fast, and a lot of these games at the higher ranks are determined by 1 or 2 points. One quick turnover or an easier to shoot 3, in this case with Dame, could mean the difference between a win and a loss in a ranked game. And we know at the higher ranks, if you lose one game, that basically wipes out between 3 and 5 ranked games if you're not careful. Also, when you activate the dominant skill, the meter actually falls down or drops down to 0. So this acts like a timer for you to use your dominance skill. And when it reaches down to 0, you will no longer be in the dominance phase, and you will then have to start all over with recharging it back to 100. I had a hard time measuring the dominance phase timer, but you almost have about 30 seconds or somewhere between 1 and 1.5 possessions to make something happen. And the dominance timer only goes down while the play clock is running. So if you're taking the ball out, you can quickly check how much time you have on the dominance meter. by going to the communication button where the quotes box is, and then you can see the dominance meter and let your teammates know how much time you have left. And the best time to use your dominance skill depends on the player. For example, if your dominant skill is defensive, like you increase the rates of your steals or your blocks, wait to activate it until your opponent has the ball in their hands. Don't activate it too early when nothing is really happening because you're just wasting precious seconds of that dominance meter. If you have a shooting related dominance skill, wait until you have the ball in your hands and about to shoot. So that's when you should tap the blue button. So now you can maximize the time you have in the dominance phase. Generally, everyone can use their dominance skill once per game. But if you have high activity, like there's a lot of rebounds going on, blocks, steals, assists, passing, you can usually get it twice. Once at the halfway point and then also in the last 10 to 20 seconds. But these times are all subject to change as the devs continue to learn more about the game and find balances. And before we get to the final tips for using these skills, if you made it to this part of the video and found these tips extremely useful, hit that like button so other NBA Infinite players can know more about this feature. And here's the final tips that I'll wrap up with. When you score during the dominance phase, if you have an offensive dominance skill, if you end up missing your shot, your dominance meter will actually be cut by about 30 to 50 points off the top. So make sure you're wide open when you shoot. Also, by tapping on the communication button where that quotes box is with all the team comm messages, you can also see the current status of your dominance meter, but also when you tap it, it'll pop up over your head for your teammates to know and also get ready for when your dominance phase happens. And when you have your dominant skill ready, and that's probably the best time to start spamming the pass the ball, pass the ball, pass the ball message to your teammates so that you can go do your thing. And this blue dominance button can be moved around and resized to wherever you want it on the screen. So put it somewhere comfortable where you can see it and just tap it right away without thinking. And some people don't know or forget that you can level up your exclusive and dominance skills. And you automatically have level 1 once you get the card, but once you rank up to rank 5, you can upgrade it to level 2, and then when you max rank it at 7, you can then upgrade it to level 3. So don't forget to upgrade these when you hit those ranks along with your skills. Next tip is that your dominance meter can actually hold 2 full dominance charges at once. It will always keep growing and max out at 2 full charges, so you don't have to worry if you're wasting it by holding off on it. That'll do it for me, and I'll see you in the next video over here.